This is the WellFounder Podcast.
Welcome to the show, Cas. It's an absolute pleasure having you on today.
Thank you for having me, Javi. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on because we're going to be talking about something super important that I've never actually talked about this on the show before, and that is what you need to do or what you need to know before you hire an agency. And this is a very important topic. Like, I'm sure a lot of founders don't necessarily do, they want to hire an agency, but they don't know what to look out for. So this is where somebody with your experience can come and give them that insight. Yeah. And before we do, though, I like to kick off by asking my guests to, tell us who you are and how you go into the work you do.
I've been in agency now for over 20 years. And seen the highs and lows of agency life. So I'm the chief exec of Wow Group of companies. We're a group of agencies that do various different things, but actually my kind of message to the market is that we are an agency to agency dev support and technical partner. So our customers are agencies. So I speak to agencies every single day. And find out what's going on, what they're doing, what they're up to, etc. With a view to obviously providing our services to agencies. And essentially, Javi, we solve three problems. The first is our strapline is that we get you out of the shit that your freelancer just dropped you in. So a lot of agencies resonate with that, where they've maybe used freelancers. Not all freelancers are bad, but sometimes you'll find that devs sometimes drop the ball or something happens, and that's where we will come in and help agencies to get those projects over the line. The second problem that we solve, Javi, is we partner with and work with creative agencies, performance marketing agencies, branding agencies to do the technical work. So they do the creative work. It might be a performance marketing agency that does the, they're looking to get results for their customers. So what we do is we will work with them to do the technical work to get the results that they want for their customers. That's in performance marketing agency. So if you're a creative agency and you've done some brilliant creatives, and off the back of that creative, there's some in-depth digital work that needs to be done, some coding around that, then we'll do that and build out the product or whatever it is that they need to do. And the third problem that we solve as an agency for agencies, Javi, is that if your incumbent department is stacked out and your developers are up to their eyeballs in work, that's where we will come in on a white label basis or a partnership basis and help you get those projects over the line.
That is so cool, and that is very, very specialized, like what you guys do. Because of most of the agencies or owners I talk to deal directly with the client. So you guys are kind of like the backbone of agencies, so to speak, which is really, really. How did you get into this niche? First of all, how did the name Wow come about? Before we talk into that,
it was born off the back of like the world of internet, the world of web. That's kind of what it really stands for. So yes, that's
okay.
Yeah, that kind of
really cool.
And this was back in 2000 and whenever it was, 2002 when I started. I had a different business then. So it was came off the back of that. But so in 2009, I sold my business, my first agency, and then started again. And then I invested in another agency here and merged a small agency that I had in the background with another agency. And we became full service. So we were full service and we were dealing directly with businesses and brands. And in 2015, we did we did 21 pitches and lost every one of them. Because we were vanilla. We were like everyone else, It could, some of the reasons that we got for losing pitches was, well, you were really good, but X, Y, and Z, and you weren't demonstrate. So we were like everyone else. When I initially started in 2002, the first thing I did was I went and spoke to graphic design agencies and said, you do graphics, we'll do web, let's partner up. So I thought, and that off the back of that brutality in 2015, I decided we can't be a full service agency anymore. We're going to do one thing, and we're going to do it really well, and we're just going to partner with agencies, and we're going to do technical work because we're really good at technical work, and um, and yeah, so the moment we made that decision, and a lot of agencies, find it really difficult to make that decision. Mine was
mm.
my decision was born off the back of difficulty. Um, we decided to um, we decided to go full into providing agency to agency tech support and development. And the moment we did that, the problems that we solved just came to the fore. So our value proposition has not changed since 2015, and it won't ever change. The three problems that we solve are the three problems that we incur, that agencies come across all the time.
That is so cool, man. That is such a great niche. It's a very sweet spot because of you don't necessarily think agencies need support. You think that they have everything under control, but yeah, and on the back end they might be struggling a lot, and then that's where a company like yours can come in. Do you guys have any a competition in the? Is this a
There's competition
like
everywhere. There's
yeah?
competition everywhere.
Okay.
So if you look at it, there's competition internally. So they've got their devs
Mm,
internally. There's competition with freelancers, and there's
mm,
competition with outsourcing companies. Like the likes of India and Pakistan and
mm.
like the Philippines and all that kind of stuff. So there's competition everywhere. But we're very much a hybrid model, in terms of our staff headcount. We've got we just recruit the very best people wherever they are. And the thing is with dev is, um, good devs you find everywhere, bad devs you find
Yeah.
everywhere. It's not just,
Everybody's
it's not just you know people may have a bad experience with dealing with someone in India, but I can tell you now we've got two guys that are based out there that we employ, that are part of our company, that are amazing. Customers love them. We've got some people in Nigeria. We've got some people in the UK. So we just pick the best talent to be able to do the job that's afforded to them and for our clients. So yeah.
really cool, really cool. And do you work with any niche in particular, or is it I don't know, say, are you in terms of the agencies you work with? Are they specialized in, say, I don't know, would you work with a company that does SaaS or manufacturing, or how would that work for you guys?
So are you talking about an end user customer, or would it be?
Yes, yes, from the end
Yeah,
user, like, yeah,
because we've been around for a long time, we don't actively go out seeking for the end user customer.
okay,
They normally come to us organically, um,
I see,
and they normally come through us to us via agencies,
I see.
because it might be an agency
All
that
right,
does social media. There
yeah,
might be an agent that does social media, and they just need some technical help with the customer. And in that particular scenario, they'll bring us into as a partner to deliver the solution for the client.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Awesome. All right, then let's talk about, because of you've got brilliant insight into this in terms of you see all the mistakes these agencies make
Yeah.
and the red flags, so to speak. So let's say a founder, they're at the stage where, actually, let me ask, when would it be the right time for, or how would the founder know, you know what, I need an agency versus hiring this in-house? What would be your thoughts around that?
When's the right time for a founder? I think when the work, well, generally, I'd say the right time is from the beginning. But the right
Mm,
time is when you can afford to work with a good agency. That is the
mm,
right time, you know. And so therefore, a bit, businesses grow in different ways, and at different times. So if you've got a business that's growing really, really quickly, you might be that you're looking to recruit people in house, or you might be looking to recruit in house and an agency to bring in the specialism.
mm.
So it really is quite a wide question. But I mean, I would always try and engage with any kind of professional, whether that's an agency professional, consultant, right from the beginning.
I see, and that's something I have never really understood. But I think you've kind of pointed to that in terms of the specialism. Because of if you can hire, I don't know, a marketer or a marketing team in house, why do you need an agency? I guess is the question I'm asking. But I guess you've talked about like specialism.
Yeah, even more so now. Even more so now. You should always, because the digital landscape is so wide and so fragmented. You know, how much are you going to know? You're going to get now. You've got people that specializes in just SEO, but there's so many
Mm,
facets to SEO. You know, you've got on
mm,
page, off page, data, analytics. You know, and how all those marry together. And a true specialist, in my opinion, would probably pick, the ones that I've worked with, you might be a data specialist or a on-page specialist or a PR specialist. There's so many
mm,
facets just if you look at SEO. Then if you extrapolate that out and say digital marketing, there are
mm,
so many channels. How can
yeah,
one person be an expert in all those channels? It's very, very difficult, and that means it's
yeah,
really difficult for business owners. What do you pick? How do you pick it? What do you need to do when they recruit a marketeer? It might be that the marketeer has a design base
mm,
or a social media base. They may not know or have the deep expertise in SEO or paid advertising or PR. So to recruit a fully functional marketing team, A, would cost a lot of money, and B, you know, you need to have real experts in all those channels for it to work effectively. So it's a
makes
big
sense. And
big thing.
yeah, because sometimes I look at some of the job applications and what the role requires, and especially for a marketing exec or something like that, or digital marketing, especially, and they list all these things that you're supposed to do from creating content, running ads, Google, social, list all these things. I'm like, well, only one person is gonna do all these things. Like,
I think I
that's
think I think a
crazy.
lot of business owners need to be educated on that. Because it's not their fault. It's not their fault.
Mm,
They just think we need a marketeer, and therefore they may have spoken to someone that can talk about all those things, but actually the
mm.
execution. I mean, I can talk about all those things, and I know what to look for, so I kind of sit above them. But it's about affordability and budget, isn't it? People can't afford that.
So true. Right then. So, in terms of, let's say, a founder and his team have decided, you know what, we need to hire an agency for something.
Yeah.
What are some of those red flags that they should look out for? Because that's I can imagine that could be such a trying or tough thing to do to pick the right agency.
Yeah, I think there's some principles around agencies and suppliers. I think the first thing is if they're talking a lot about themselves,
Mm,
then that's probably a red flag. What they need to be talking about and investigating about is you as the customer, and asking really kind of what I call simple but probing questions.
mm,
What's your business objective? What are your goals over the next 12 months? What you're looking to do? How is marketing going to fit into that? So that's actually not a red. That's a green flag. If they're asking those kind
mm,
of questions, it means that they're genuinely interested. And also, I think importantly, is it doesn't matter how long someone is established. It's in my book, because you could be 2 3 year old agency, but actually you do really really good quality work. And I think
mm,
the fit has got to be absolutely work well. And I think from a brand point of view, from a business point of view, one of the things that you've got to understand is that really really good agencies will tell you the pitfalls. They'll give you the
mm,
upside, and they'll give you the downside as well. Yeah, and they'll help you and they'll guide you through what happens on the downside. And that only happens over a period of time and trust.
Mm.
So that's really, really important. So when I'm speaking to agencies, because I understand what the issues are in agencies, because I've run them for 20 plus years, I say to them, what we do is not perfect, but I can guarantee you this is that if something goes wrong, we'll be here to support you. And
Mm.
these are the things that can go wrong because you might be dealing with hosting, you might be dealing with a website that's broken, you might be dealing with something that we're inheriting, you know. What you've got to understand is that we will communicate with you and regularly because we insist that to make sure you have the information to pass on to your customers. So, what's really important for a business to look out for is how quickly and how often the agency responds to your queries and how they prioritize them. So that's really, really important to see that. And you're not going to you're not going to know that until you get into them, work with them. Um, and I think from another thing that's probably a red flag um, is is they give you case studies. An agency they're full of case studies. They'll always give you the best case studies. They won't give you the worst ones because every business, every agency does have disasters. Yeah. And I think from a brand point of view, say, okay, you're gonna send me case studies. I know you've done this really good work. Question that they should ask is, can we speak to the people? Can you make the intro
Mm.
speak to the people? So follow up and do that due diligence and speak to them and ask them probing questions, But also, as an agency, you should be offering up some of the issues and challenges that you faced on certain projects and how you
Mm.
overcame them, because that shows open and honesty and trust. So it's really, really important to have as a founder, as a business owner, to be able to ask those questions and the agency to be able to be open and honest for them. And actually, if the agency volunteers that information before you ask, that's a really good sign.
I really like that because of it's you're coming at it as a very human approach and more partnership than a silver bullet, a magic bullet kind of thing.
Well, there is no
Mm.
magic bullet. There is no silver bullet. Marketing is, brand is built with investment over the passage of time, and you've got to keep
Mm.
doing it. And that's also important to manage the expectations of the client to say, actually, you know what? The first 3 months of your marketing campaign, for example, is all about testing. Don't expect any sales. If you get sales, that's brilliant.
Brilliant.
If you just getting the cab off the rank, if you're just starting, if it's something that you're already established, then it's about making sure that we calibrate your campaign so it gives you more yield, you know, more bang for your buck, that kind of thing. But that's going to take time. It's an iterative process. You got to look at the data and then match the data to the creative, to the message, etc., etc.
I like that because of that is one of the biggest challenges of working with clients. That whole managing the expectation side of things. Because they, if they're giving you I don't know 10 grand a month ad spend, I want ROI really quickly and stuff like that. And that's
Because
something
the
you need
pressure that
to
everyone's under, that's what
yeah.
they want. But also it's about managing the expectation of the client, and say, and you need to be upfront with it. You need to be upfront with it because if inevitably you're going to get found out. You know, the thing is with brushing it under the carpet, it's not about you can't brush it under the carpet or kick the can down the road. You got to clean the corners. That's the important thing. But you've got to make sure that this is what we're doing. But all along the way, you've got to communicate, and also you've also as an agency, you got to think about you're not going to keep every client forever.
Mm,
It's just not going to happen because there'll be someone
that's not
selling to your customer
something else.
on a
Mm.
on a regular basis. They're being pitched every single day. There's over 25,000 agencies in the UK.
25 grand, that's a lot, that's a lot of agency. And I like how you said earlier on the whole being the same as everybody else. I think that's any agency owner, even businesses can learn from that. Like, you need to really stand out in a way. So I think that's super important. And Cas, as we wrap up though, I also like to know, obviously hiring the agency is one thing, but making that relationship work, because if there's going to be clients, what are some things that the founder can do on their path to help that relationship be more successful?
It's really good question, that. And I think what founders can do or brands can do is constantly communicate with their agency, not just leave them to it. Because when you leave them to it, you as the founder will start questioning what is going on. A lot of agencies, they're really good and they're proactive and they're sending reports and they're sending information and they're sending project plans and they're saying this is where we're at. But then the founder is so busy doing their stuff that they actually think that the agency should just, I just want to carry on. Be involved. It's your business. It's your organization. It's your job to make sure where you find where it's someone's job role. Let's say, for example, an e-commerce manager, you'll find in that instance that they will be involved because they have to report to the board. So it's important to make them look successful. So typically a good e-com manager would have a lot of engagement. Where you've got a founder, an owner-managed business, where they're directly involved, it's really important that from the outset that they articulate where they're going, what they expect, communicate, and the most important thing is be patient. Be patient.
I like that. I like the whole be patient thing, because these things results take time to get. And so saying that, then when would it be a time to cut off an agency? Say you've hired them for they told you 3 months, this is going to take 3 months, and then after 3 months there's no ROI. What would your advice be then in terms of
if it's a
that
marketing
relationship?
campaign, it's good. 3 months is a very short time. You got to set up the campaigns. You got to calibrate the campaigns. You've got to look at the data. You haven't got enough data set. So 3 months would be like, right, this is the money that you've invested, but actually you've got this feedback back. So I think you've got to keep monitoring it every single day. But if the fit is not right, you don't get on with the people and you're feeling it's not right, then I think that's the time to do it. The gut instinct is never wrong.
Gut instinct is never wrong. I like that. And that's such a great way to wrap up then. And as we wrap up, I always like to ask for one final tip. You've got so much experience in this space. What's one thing you could leave a founder with in terms of working with an agency? What's the final tip you could share with them?
I think for a founder to work with an agency is make sure that you have a really good human fit with that particular agency, and allow the agency to tell you the good things and the bad things. So as a founder, you should be asking, you're telling me all the good things that you can do, but actually, what are the pitfalls? What are the risks? Tell me about those. So we're upfront about them. Yeah. I think that's probably the best thing is ask the we're really good at, ask the agency, tell me what you've done, and they'll tell you everything that's, roses and smells nice, but tell me about the things that didn't work so well and how you overcame them.
I like that. I've worked with some managers that did something similar in the past, and it felt so good working with somebody that kind of allowed you to make your mistakes and not be having too much pressure. Okay, that really helps. Cas, this has been a wonderful, very insightful chat. Where can our viewers go learn more about Wow Group and possibly work with you? What's the best way for them to do that?
The best way is to just connect with me on LinkedIn. So it's at Cas Cas Majid, Majid.
Brilliant. And we're going to leave all of that in the show notes. Once again, thank you so much for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Take care. Have a lovely day.